In this lesson, we're going to vectorize our sketch and our image. Now, I'm going to show you how to do one, and then I'm going to add in another house in the project files, which you can also follow along if you never did the sketching part at the start. Now I'm going to click and just drag it in to the document, and it's going to copy it in. It's going to place it into the document. Now I can zoom by pressing Control plus to zoom in, as you can see, and this is where we come into our image trace. So if you didn't bring up the image trace in the last lesson, we can go to Window, down to Image Trace. We can bring this up, and we're going to open up the Advanced section. I'm gonna pull it up here so I can see it, and I'm gonna also turn on the preview. Now, do not turn this on if you've got a really slow computer, because it will want to raster everything. And as you can see, tracing may proceed slowly with this large image. So I've got a fairly big image, so it will go slower for bigger images, but we have more detail in bigger images. So I'm gonna hit OK and leave it like that. And as you can see, we've traced our image. Now this is up here. We're gonna leave these to our defaults. We want a tracing result. We want it in black and white. So I'm gonna come down to threshold, and under threshold, I can drag this, and this, if you put your mouse over it, you can see the pixels darker, the threshold values are converted to black. So anything within the threshold, so we've got a threshold value here. One obviously is barely picking anything. It's only picking up the straight black colors. So we want to bring it up. We want a fair bit of detail. If we take it too far, everything's going to be black, because it's also including white into the threshold. So we just bring it back a bit. Obviously, the higher it is, the more detail, but we can also adjust it down here. Down here we have pixels, and this means paths. We have our paths, and this here is how many paths we have in our document, or how many anchor points. Now we usually want less paths if we can get rid of it. As you can see, it smooths things out. So if we want a lot of detail, we bring the paths up and it gets that gritty look. I'm not going to go that high because I don't want a heap of anchor points, which can slow my document down. We can come down to corners. This is the amount of corners in your document. And we can see the difference there. It's not much of a difference. We just play around with the sliders so we can see. And then we have noise. I'm going to keep my noise fairly low, as I usually do. That way it doesn't add in the blobs to all the shapes. As you can see, it's filling in a lot of areas I don't want. I'm also going to come down here to ignore white, because I don't want any white in my document. Now I'm going to come up to expand, and I can expand this like so. Now I have a house that has been turned into a vector, and the way I can tell this is if I press A, it brings up my direct selection tool, and my direct selection tool allows me to edit each individual anchor. That's what we're talking about, anchors. We have got a load of anchors in here. So the more I push those paths up, the more anchors I get, and the anchors are all these little dots we have everywhere. Alright, what I can do here, I'm going to delete that one just now. And we can delete any stray anchor points. So if I go to my direct selection tool, I can hit Control A, and just let go. I have probably got, and we can just look for any stray anchor points, which we don't have. Any anchor points that would be out here, probably to do with our ink when we drew it, and we just want to delete them, like that anchor point I had up here. Alright, now we are ready to jump in and start coloring the document. Now I'm going to show you a couple of methods of doing that. I'm going to show you a really slow way, and then we'll show you a faster way.